everybody, Terrence Pop here with another episode from the Lair. And gonna throw some more my early Ninth ID stories out there. You gotta remember that these early ones were basically the late 80s, which is a completely different world than it is today, but some of the shit that went down is, you know, all young guys do it because they're just stupid, and you pretty much make a bad decision every 60 days. And if you're lucky enough not to have one of them kill you when you get older, you know, you'll outgrow it, you know. So don't worry, youth is, you know, a terminal illness. Not always, but it can be. And if it's not, if it doesn't kill you, you'll sooner or later you outgrow it, and that'll be that. So what are you gonna do? All right, here we go. All right, let's see. I was in 347, which is technically motorized infantry, which is basically straight leg infantry, just riding wearing a Humvee, which I don't know if they were just trying to work on that concept. I don't think there is any more motorized infantry anymore. I think they built it off of a German model. The Germans had some motorized infantry units that were actually fairly effective, and especially in some of the Battle of the Bulge counterattacks that they conducted. But that's just the history in me, the history buff in me talking about that. All right, so we'd go up to Yakima like 2 to 3, sometimes more, like 4 to 3 times a year. And I was in the 9th Infantry Division, just a hair over 2 years. Spent 7 months deployed overseas to the MFO. Now, you know, we would go out there, and, you know, Yakima Firing Center is just basically a dried out prairie, windy as fuck. In the summertime, it's hot as hell. In any other season, it's windy, cold, and it sucks, and doesn't really rain that much, thank God, but still pretty cold. So, you know, we'd go down there, and, you know, I was a private. I was, you know, basically an E3 at the time, E2, E3, I don't remember. But when you go down there, all the lower enlisted got to set all the shit up, you know. So me and one of my buddies I used to hang out with, you know, first name Mark, I'm not going to say his last name. You know, and we have to, you know, put up the tents, and they're like circus tents back in the day. There's really no internal structure, just a few poles made of wood, and a lot of these stupid ass wooden tent stakes. And we have to bash these things in with this huge wooden hammer or mallet. And I mean, it's pretty funny. I mean, it's about 3 feet long, and there's a big hammer on the end. You just smash it in. So, you know, we have to do our fire guard or watch 24 hours. So at night, when everyone goes to sleep, they usually have a roster. You and the guy, you know, you and your bunkmate who are sharing a shelter half of this little pup tent. You do like an hour's worth of watch. You just walk around, make sure there's no animals, no fires, or anyone else fucking with anything. So me and my buddy Mark, we're standing over by the HQ tent. That we just set that one up, and I believe that was the same one that blew away that year. I'm not sure. What are you gonna do? So we're fucking around with these big hammers. You know, we're walking around. I'm holding the white light, and the mice would come out and get into shit at night because, you know, soldiers eat and spill everything everywhere. So we would occupy a lot of our time at night. You know, I'm like, oh, I got one, and he would like smash it with a big mallet, or I'd smash him, and he'd flash the light. So one day we started guard. It was right after chow-ish, you know, in the evening, about 6 o'clock. Still a little light outside, and I'm like, hey, Mark, how about you put on your flat vest and K pot, and I'm gonna hit you in the chest with this mallet, and you let me know if it hurts. He's okay. So I'm like, all right, here we go. Boom! I hit him right in the chest, knock him on his ass. He's like, wow, this vest does take a lot of force. It knocked the wind at me a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. So we spent like 20 minutes just bashing each other with this fucking hammer and fall on the ground. And, you know, our squad leader would sit there and watch. And then finally, after we got knocked down 3 or 4 times, he walks out and he's like, what the fuck you guys doing? We're just fucking around with this hammer. Oh, no, I was watching for 20 minutes. You guys like hitting sharp with a hammer. If you guys get fucking hurt, you're gonna get fucked up because this is intentional shit here. We're like, all right, so we quit doing it. But it kind of caught on, and a lot of other people were doing the same thing. And one guy did get a broken rib, but I think that was more of a surprise thing because he didn't have his vest on. You know, the vest really did work. Let's see, on that particular Yakima journey, we went on this, we linked up with 2 other battalions, and we're going to do this attack up Yakima Ridge to the top, and they set up an objective up there. And in my company, you know, we got all online, each of the 3 platoons, and the headquarters was behind us. We start walking up this goddamn Yakima Ridge. Now, if you have Google Earth, you can find it. It's pretty fucking tall. And, you know, we started just after it got dark, and it wasn't that bad in the beginning. But then, you know, the temperature went way down, and there was basically, I don't know, fog and low clouds. And we're like an hour into it, still walking up this goddamn ridge. And it was weird because you go, oh yeah, there's the top, and you go over the top, and then it would be another flat plateau. You're like, oh fuck, and you have to cross the 3-wire fence and go, oh, it's going up again. And it went on like 5 or 6 times like that. Like, finally, we're over. Well, long story short, we started at 9 o'clock. Our company didn't make the top of the ridge until, I would say, 1:32 in the morning. Of all the people that were left on this particular, you know, mission, was me and I think 7 other guys from our company. The rest had all fallen out, or they just couldn't do it. I mean, you're walking uphill carrying all your shit. It's right on the verge of freezing, so you know people were stopping and stopping too long, getting cold, and you know catching hypothermia. And the radios, of course, you know, those old FM radios, you can't fucking, they never work when you need them. It's Murphy's in your ass. Apparently, they canceled the whole thing about 2 hours into it, but we didn't get that. So we walked all the way to the top. We get there, and, you know, there's like 4 or 5 tons up there just to drive everyone back down because they'd scrubbed the mission. It was so fucked up. Now, that was probably, up until that point, that was the most exhausted I had ever been in my entire life. Like, literally, we were, you know, getting on and off the 5-ton, waiting in line to get on. You're literally dozing off while you're standing up. And I hadn't experienced this kind of tired until Ranger School would be, like, I think 2 years later, or 2 or 3 years later. But man, oh man, fuck that place. And another thing is, we would set up our tents, and they would put up a engineer tape, and then we'd have to have the front pole of each one of our, you know, 2-man tents on this engineer tape. So you'd have the company set up, and you'd have, you know, all the platoons for such and such company, then the other company from the battalion, and the other. So it looked like a big checkerboard with a bunch of tents. Now, I found out later that these motherfuckers did it on purpose. But, you know, they would fly, like the Army pilots would fly the Chinooks, which is basically the 2 big, you know, propellers on the top. And you could carry about between 30 and 50 guys on them, depending upon how loaded down they were with equipment. But they generated so much prop wash that they would fly over the top. Of course, they'd do this a little on the low side over our little tent city, and everyone's tent would just explode and shit would blow everywhere. You know, and we'd bitch, you know, hey, could somebody like tell those guys not to fucking do that because it's fucking us up. Towards the end, we're going on this other mission where we were getting on the shit hook and flying to another objective. So we get on there, and I was sitting down next to one of the crew chiefs, and there was an extra headphones there that nobody was wearing. So just for shits and giggles, I put it on so I could hear what the pilots are saying. And the entire time, they're fucking going, okay, so we're gonna, when we fly out of here, I want you to turn around and go right over the tent city so we can blow up some more of their tents and watch them go fucking crazy. And I'm like, those motherfuckers do this on fucking purpose. And yes, they do, those rat bastards. And they probably still do the same shit today because, let's face it, pain looks good on other people, and so does pandemonium. I'm just saying. All right. Again, we're doing this other... So I think this is the second part of the devil worshiper guy. So he came back from his fucking stint at the Army re-education camp that they ran on North Fork. He got sent to another platoon, shocker, because nobody in our platoon wanted anything to do with this guy. And we were doing this long movement on foot. I think we're 2 hours into it, and we're supposed to be somewhere by 2 in the morning. Well, apparently, Mr. Devil Worshiper had talked to the chaplain and let him know that this was a winter solstice, and he needed to have 15 minutes at midnight for his to practice his religious freedom. So he actually, the chaplain actually went to the commander and said, "Hey, I know this is wrong, but I don't agree with it. But I'm the chaplain, and one of our guys here." Today is the winter solstice, and he wants to, stop to do 15 minutes ritual to, for his religious beliefs. My commander and first sergeant were fucking livid. They're like, "Fuck that guy. We're not gonna fucking do that." And the chaplain's like, "Technically, sir, if you don't do it, it is an IG complaint, and it's fucked up." So sure as shit. At 11:45, we all fucking stop. And this motherfucker, who's another platoon, we can see him walking up there with the chaplain up on the top of this fucking hill. A little bit windy. You can see him build a fire, some shit going on. And I remember I'm sitting there, like, eating fucking a half-warmed-up beef stew with some crackers. And standing right next to me is Crowley. And he's looking up there. He's like, "Dude, this shit's just fucked up, man. No, fuck that guy." I just laughed my fucking ass off. And another thing in regards to Crowley, I told you he was a big dude. And big, strong guy. But when it came to the infantry stuff with like the road marching or having to run, and he was good to a certain extent. But in the infantry, your body size works against you. And the cutoff is right around 200 to 210. Depending upon who you are. When you go more than 210, you are actually fucking yourself in the long run. I'm just going to tell you. I seen old big boy Crowley, didn't make it the march up Yakima Ridge, fell out a bunch of runs, usually ran out of gas, somewhere between 10 miles to 12 miles into a long movement. It was like clockwork. What are you going to do? But for shorter movements, he would carry the M60, the radio, and an ass load of ammunition. It was like goddamn water buffalo. And as long as it didn't go over, 6 to 8 miles, you're good. All right, let's see. I think that's about it for the Yakima stories. Got a few more. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this. These are quick ones, but I'll talk to you later.